Alrighty, Doc here from North America. It is Friday. Yay! Somewhere in Tokyo, it's 9:31 p.m. It's in the evening. So, and Kenya, where are we at? Let's see. I'm not sure. Let's see what the hours are. Kenya is like about. It's in the afternoon there. So, the world is already moved into Friday and the weekend. It's getting very close. It sounds nice to me. You can see the dollar index here is still trying to be firm. There's no doubt about it. It's trying. It's at the top end of its range. And hello, George. Hello, Metho. Hello, Robin. And, yeah, it's Friday. That's the way I feel about it. It's like, bring it on. I want Friday. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. And to all, a good evening. So now, what do we got going on here besides that? Let's see. Oh, there's the VIX. I was looking at the VIX. See, the VIX is 3 days in. We'll go into that a little bit. Usually Janos wants to see like the VIX and stuff like that when you have action, ACTION. I thought I'd throw that on, and I was looking at it, and I forgot to go to the dollar index over there. Let's go to that right there. Maybe today it goes into a buy. I don't know. It was very close, but it just refused to go into a buy. So I didn't take it too serious. Yeah, it's on that edge. Right there, just edge. It's plateauing here. Interest rates obviously are trying to lift a little bit in here. There's a little nervousness. We are heading towards the middle of February, and we've been talking about that since like December. If you're going to see a top in the market, it comes in the middle of February. I don't think it's going to be a top in the market. I think it's just a correction. They're all nervous about, I guess today's the 10th. So the 11th, the 12th, I think the 13th is CPI. As we take a sip of our tea. Yeah, I think the 13th is CPI. So I think they're concerned about what the inflation number will be like. And so that has money kind of, just kind of trying to find a place to be safe. That's really what it comes down to. They're just parking a little bit. There's a lot of profits that have been made in the stock market, and then, it relates over into the currency market. And so, and currencies usually are more governed by fundamentals compared to the rest of the trading products that we always see and follow and listen about. But that is the nature of it all, I guess you could say. Now, what am I doing here? Let me see if I can hear me. I bet I can. Oh, I didn't plug in. That's why. I just want to make sure I can hear me, just for a second or two, just to double check. So, yeah, that's the gist of it all, I guess you could say at this point in time. I don't hear me. Does everybody hear me fine? Oh, I hear me now. Okay, good. Good. So that's that's how I guess you could say that's where we're at the moment. A little nervousness in the market. It's been a great run on the upside. S&Ps have gone from like 3,800 to 4,200. We're at below 4,100 now. I think we're at 4070 or 4065. Let's just take a quick look. We'll do it on the intraday. Yeah, 4066. So, it's I guess you'd say it's a 2/3 retracement at this point for those that follow the Gann spiral, Fibonacci nature of the market. That's a good way of looking at it there. What else can we say? I guess that's about it. Let's jump over to. No one seems to want to see anything. I think we're all like, it's the weekend. Just, Doc, tell us what's going on and let us go home. Let's see. Let's jump over to the euro right there. You can see right there. There's the euro. It's tried to go into a buy yesterday, but we had that little red dot there, and then it got across the zero line and sliding down again. And the weekly is, you can see the fast-moving algorithm right there. The little bluish dot line had broken down last week and reflecting the weakness we're seeing. The slow one is still dragging its feet, but one thing is for sure, the daily's in a sell, and one of the two are in a sell, so it's like, yep, pressure, or let's put it this way, ACTION. Action, action. All right, now from there we'll go over to J4X, and you see with this minus here, let's go with it there. I'll stick in the euro right there, and you can see all that magical weakness going on. Same thing with the euro. And why don't we move that line over? Oh, and we got that hot thing going on. That's pretty cool. The Ducascopy, what's the action? You can see right there, what is that? Carbon Company. Not even sure what country that is. Is that Japan? Is that the Red Sun? And then you got the fourth one down is BPPLC. And what's that, Switzerland? And then now it's moved into fifth position. That's neat. It rotates and shows you the action. And now what's interesting is that the names that are, I guess that most action is on the upside more than the downside. How do you do that, I guess? And I guess that Toka Carbon. Yeah, so let's see. Don't see any particular name jumping out at me, but we have that up on there if you want to see it, since it's there. And when it comes to the euro itself, though, you can see it's got that pressure going on, but it's not the worst in the world. I'm still, saying the same thing I've been saying, and that is I think that the dollar pairs trades across the planet in the end result over the next 6 months will be stronger pairs and weaker dollar in them. I think that's how it's going to play out. Oh, there's Giannis. Any comments on the U.S. indices? Yeah, I'm not concerned about it. We were looking for the weakness to come in the middle of February, and here we are, February 10th. So, it's not the biggest surprise in the world. That's pretty much, I guess, what what I can basically say about it all. We were in a daily sell. Let's go over to some of these. Where is it at? Right there. One of these things will do it. There we go. And there's the S&P. We're down towards the bottom end of the range of today. When we go over and look at the actual indice itself, you can see we closed in a daily sell yesterday. It was pretty much a plateau up in here. The weekly is not really that concerned. I find that a bit comforting, I guess you could say, that we're not seeing a lot of damage going on in the weekly itself, just on the daily. And at the same time, I started off with the VIX on the screen. So let's put that back up on the screen there. Now that you asked, I mentioned you actually, figuring that there was action. So I had the VIX on there. I was looking at it. You can see the VIX is in the daily buy for the third day now. So we've been expecting this weakness. Now the question is, where will it land? It seems like it's from the 3,800 to the 4,200. That's 400 points. And so you divide that by 3, and that comes out to be like 135, I guess you could say. 133, 134. So we're down at 4066 area, which is matches up to the 1/3 retracement. Let's put it on the intraday again, just to emphasize it a little bit easier for all of us. And right there. So it's bouncing around. It's been doing that all morning long for like the last, I guess, couple of hours. Let's see. Right here, since this is the hedge funds got going right around here. What's interesting is, let's go to the start of European trading. That's when really action starts to kick up. And so the market overall was just kind of bouncing around, unchanged in the Asian hours. And then, Europe opens up right here, and they start selling it down. So, it's more, and now the U.S. hedge funds start right here, and they start to sell it down just the same way, putting pressure on it. So the European and the American money managers are definitely pushing the market down a little bit. Or I guess you could say this. I don't know if they're pushing the market down or just taking profits. I'll go with the taking profits. You don't go wrong by taking profits. And so that's where my head's at the moment. Now, you're looking for a short on the downside at this point. So it's playing into it, that's for sure. It's heading towards the middle of February. A lot of times, you go back and look historically on charts. There's some patterns like the what do they call it, the Farmer's Almanac of Trading, or the Trader's Almanac of Trading, or something like that. Charting, the Trader's Almanac of Charts. You go back and look, and you can see for many, 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 many years, decades, that February can be a topping out period. So seems like we're getting it about 3 or 4 days a little earlier than norm. Usually it can kick out. It kicks out around here either way, so it is relatively normal. It can be around the 12th, the 11th, the 16th, the 17th. Usually somewhere in there it starts to do it. So it seems like they're trying to run ahead. There's a lot of money on the sidelines. They need to get the market to do something on the downside so they can get in a little. And right now this is a 1/3 retracement going on. So you got to wonder, will there be nibbling? And I say they will be nibbling. A little buying here, a little buying there. They'll be pressing into the market that way. So I guess that's the best I can describe. It doesn't surprise me. I have positions on to play with it. Nothing major. Because I'm not totally convinced. I want to see what happens with the CPI. And I think, Giannis, isn't that on Tuesday? Is that Tuesday of this week coming up? Next Tuesday? So I want to see what that does. That's exactly what I want to see what happens with that. I heard Ed Yardini, who's been calling the bottom from October, from that October low. He says, they're just going to be a little wobbly right now. A little nervousness and a little weakness at the moment. So, let's put it this way. I would assume that we'll see a little more weakness. And then the question will be let's go back to the daily chart here. Will they really break it down? In other words, will they really take it apart? And I don't think they will. I think there's too much capital on the sidelines. Let's put it up on J4X too at the same time right there. And so you can see, it's when you look at the overall scheme from the October low, this is not exactly damaging. Now, if they would do a couple of these like that, but overall it's been plateaued, goes up, down, up, down. We'll see if they support this area right here. I would think that, like the 4,000 area, maybe they try to shake them out a little bit to, like 3,987 or 98 or, something like that. Try to shake out, get some real shorts trapped, and then they start to step up and nibble again. That would be a 50% retracement. And I think there's probably plenty of managers out there that would like to get in that 50 percentile area, which is like right here at the meat of it. And the chances of it seeing the 38 again, oh no, what's that? That's the 30, that's 30, 35, 34.89. So the chances, maybe at best, they get to the 38s, something like that. When you look at the whole move from 35 to 42 is 700, so which is 350. 350, subtracted from 4,200 is, was that what did I say the number? 350. So 350. That's 750, or is it 850? 850. 850. So there's 8ish there. Will we see it back and fill here? Will there be desperate money managers nibbling? I would say that there'll be desperate money managers nibbling. Because the first quarter comes to an end, and they got to explain to their investors why they were not long in this market. It's going to shake them up. There's a lot of them that sing this song. I hear it every day in the financials markets. There's a recession in the second half. Things like that. They say that over and over again. So I think that's pretty much the best way to describe what I see going on. And the smart money, to me, seems to have been already in the market, and they'll probably add more as it, goes down. And the slow money, which is the majority, is going to be a little desperate to prove to their clients that they are paid to buy, and they are buying when in fact they weren't buying. And that's the big trick right there. Remember, that's what they call window dressing. So what they'll do is there'll be a point where they start to step up so that they can show that they have a lot of popular companies in their portfolio. If they have missed it already, they're going to do something to, they're going to do something to show their investors that they're there. They're into the game. All right. From there, let's see. Where do we go from there? We go to British pound. I guess go look at the British pound. We just looked at the euro. But if anybody would like to see anything particular, just put it up on the chat line. We'll go after it. I have no problem with that. And there is the cable, and the cable does seem still firm. It's coming off of this cute little bounce there. Take a look at it over here. There it is. And let's find it right there. There's cable. Holding up, just down a little bit, nothing major. It looks like it's right on the edge. My goodness. It can go all the way. Score! Yep, exactly. You can see it there. It's right on the edge, trying to get it back into that weekly buy. This whole thing looks like a plateau also. Like, oh, no, I don't want to go that far down. I just want to go sideways and let everybody catch up, that type of thing. All right, now, let's see, what else can we talk about? Right there, we go to the Swiss franc. There's the Swiss franc. Swiss franc, a little surprised that it's that firm this morning, but it is. But looks very comfortable. It looks like it's going to be in the weekly sell. I'll be surprised if it doesn't end up in the weekly sell at this point. And there's the line for it. We'll stick it in there so that we remember that on Monday so we don't have to do it. And you can see here they're flirting with that buy right now. We'll see what happens when the European market closes and everybody starts to go towards their adult beverages for the evening. What the Americans might do to this might push it back down a little bit. I know it's hard to believe, but a lot of us over here really are not big dollar bulls. We're more interested in the idea of a fair valued currency, and it's trading way too strong. So, all right. From there, we go over to the yen. Oh, let me do this too. Let's get it up on J4X because I got cable up there still. Let's take a look and see what it's looking like in J4X. Right there. You can see it's got that plateau thing going on. It's just, it's trying to put some strength into it this morning, but notice the breakdown here with the fast-moving stochastic itself. It's done a great job. It got down into the, with the 90? What is that? 90.59. I mean, it's done a great job getting down from the 101.47 situation. That's pretty impressive. That is a big move for the currency. And so, I'm just happy to see it back to the norm. And, that's a good thing right there. All right. And then over there we go to the yen, which now the Bank of Japan has a new chairman. They put somebody new in there yesterday, or I guess today it is, this morning. For them it was this morning. And so we'll see what they're doing there. Maybe we'll see some type of different policy. I kind of doubt it. They're very uniform, very mechanical, very solid, and very interesting how the two seem to want to march together. You can see the yen is going into a weekly sell also, and it's playing with the manifold right there. So I'd be really surprised if there was any other change in this thing, but going into a sell, I with it touching the manifold, that usually is almost just totally, once it touches the bottom manifold, it seems to stay there. And so we can remove that too at the same time. So that's going to go into the weekly sell also. It's still in a daily sell, which means it's strong against the dollar, which is kind of, but it's interesting is if we widen that out a little bit, you see right there, the the what do you call that? The close at the moment or the last sale is lower than yesterday, so it's actually gaining against the dollar. Whereas the Swiss, which the two of them usually kind of chug along in the same direction, is losing against the dollar this morning. So that will be an interesting horse race, and that's why I think in some ways that we'll see a stronger Swiss against the dollar going into the close tonight. All right, that makes some sense, I hope. Now, brown cow, we go over to the Turkish lira. And I'd imagine with all that do, re, mi coming in from money coming in from around the world to help out, I would imagine that the lira has to look pretty good because they got to buy things that are needed. So it's got to be people must be relief organizations and governments are probably buying some Turkish lira to be able to help. So pay for people to do this or that, or buy trucks or food and equipment, that type of thing. So zip over to that. Right there it is. The euro Turkish lira, it's been gaining, and let's put it up over here. Right there. Same situation, in that sell from there. Notice the weekly is on the edge. The fast-moving the fast-moving algorithm, the little cyan dotted line, it broke down last week, and it's representing. It's another thing there, just like this. The slow algorithm is moving very slow and not getting into the sell. The fast one, which is very indicative of what's going on, 8 out of 10 times. It's a really high percenter. So that's why I have both of them on there. We have not written any rules for anybody to try to follow it, just for those to observe it. I myself have been using it for over a year now, but again, I'm not writing any new rule for it. I'm just, we're looking at dailies and weeklies. There's no reason to get too excited, but one thing is for sure, if you see a daily sell and you find the fast algorithm underneath with the slow one still above, one thing is for sure, do not be long. Do not be long, that's for sure. And so you can try to play that at the same time. But one thing is for sure, when this breaks down the fast-moving one and the daily at the same time, say goodbye. It's heading south. And vice versa. When it jumps above, it's usually going, it's a week or two ahead, too, at the same time. So you can see here we've gone from all-time highs no more than, 7 days ago? And there's the all-time high of, what was that? That was 2077, I think, almost 2078. So that's the all-time high of the Turkish lira against the euro. So, with the earthquake, it's really put some, buying into the Turkish lira. So, and selling off, other currencies at the moment. All right, now from there we slide over to the CAD, the dollar CAD pairs, and you can see there it's doing the same thing on the weekly. It's very close to sliding in. The fast moving has jumped above, and we've been in that daily buy, and you can see it right there. It just about got there on Friday of last week, but by Monday it was joining in, and it hasn't been letting go since, I guess you could say. And so that's a matter of fact, let me just double check that. Yep, it was just minus 0.00007. So 4 zeros. And so it's been very tight. And, on Monday it just jumped right into it and hasn't let go since. Now, what we do is we zip over to oil. Because normally, when we see the euro, in this case, the CAD, the Canadian dollar against the Canadian dollar against the U.S. dollar, when you see that moving up, like losing value against the dollar, normally you also see natural gas, not natural gas, but natural gas too. But let's get to it again. You'll see the oil market move in a a negative direction, and it's not doing that. That's a little curious there. It did a little push down yesterday, but you can see here today, this has been one interesting move up, and you would assume that the Canadian would be doing the mirror image of that, and it's not. It tried. You can see it started to. It started to drift down and then seemed to stall. It is down a little bit today, but I'm a little surprised that it hasn't done that. Let's put it up over here. There's the Canadian right there. And so I'm really surprised that it's been marching north when I would have thought it would have been sideways to down. That's the thing. Solely because, where is it at again? Where's Mr. Mouse? Right there. Solely because of that. Right there, the oil market. That's the thing. It's put a nice bottom in there. And the Canadian is having a hard time joining in with that. And it seems like, we got the Canadian doing that. We got the South African Rand doing that. Where they've just seemed to have walked away for whatever reasons. We know what the South African Rand problem is. It's all political. I guess they're in a stalemate at this point with the president. And so the currency has, basically turned into as they would say, a nothing burger. Let's take a look at that. Right there. And as a matter of fact, it's taking out that high now, isn't it? Or trying to. So, it's in a buy from here. Let's put that in there. Thought we put that in there. There we go. Put the green line in there. And it's been in a weekly buy for, a bunch of weeks. You can see even the fast, maybe we should make that fast a little more obvious now that I talk about it more often. Let's do this. Make it a dash? Yeah, make it a dash. A little bit thickerish too. Huh. Alright, well that might make it a little bit more emphasized so you can see it. And so you can see that the little, maybe we can change the color a little bit of the screen too. That might not hurt it. Cancel. Format screen again. That's even worse, isn't it? Let's go like that, because I want to see that clearer. You can see that it's been above since down in here. We got into a sell for one day. Somewhere was it? Right over there. We got into a sell and it jumped right back into the buy the next day, and it's been in that. Then it cruised along for a couple of days and then did that slam down. Maybe we don't see the news in South Africa so freely. I mean, it gets here sometimes it doesn't. So we haven't seen anything particular going on, just that it hit that top of that trend line and then dropped like a rock. And then now it's taken it out with no problem. So at least it hasn't taken out this high here of 18 yet. I think that's what it was. Was that 18? That was... What was that high? The high was 96 basically. 17,959. So basically 96. Yeah. Quiet. No one's talking. No one's asking any questions. Everybody happy? Everybody happy? It's the end of the week. I'm going to give myself a refresh here just to double check the chat line to make sure nothing is going on. No, looks okay. No changes there. All right, so that's the issue of the two currencies that were so fun to watch for so long have turned into a mess. And in this case here, one thing is for sure. It is reading, in other words, this is, when we watch gold, what we do is we compare this to the gold. So let's go over to the gold. Put it there. And gold has been going down. Okay, so it is matching up to it now again, but it's just doing it in a much more sloppier process, whereas before it would lead it. It would lead it by 5 6 hours, which was really really a nice tool to follow. And you see, gold has been getting knocked down here like that. So it's not that far fetched when you look at that, and then you go and you look at the South African rand. Where is it at? Right there, right there. There we go. It is riding up. All right, so they're joining in. Problem is that we valued it. We thought it should have been around 15, not starting from 17. So this situation here, maybe it's getting cleaned up on some, not the problem itself, but maybe the technical analysis is finally starting to adjust for it all. So in other words, they've got like a, what do they usually what they call it is a risk premium. They put, sometimes in products they'll put risk premium in. Hey, Robin. And so maybe what we're really seeing here is that the risk premium is that the floor is in the 16.5, 17 now. And so when it would have normally fallen down to, say, 15 with all that strength in gold, maybe now what we're really seeing more than anything else is that the risk premium is in there because of the government problem. And so, I guess that's, and it looks like it's starting to follow it again. It broke the triangle from the politics, and we'll see if, in other words, if gold would bottom here and go back up to, say, 2,000 or something like that, more than likely, we may only see like 16 or something like that, not like 13.75 or 14 in the South African rand against the dollar. So there's like a risk premium being put into the currency now. And they do that. They do that with a lot of products, and I've seen that done, tons of times, many, 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 many times throughout my experience with the market over the last 4.5, 5 decades. So, risk premium. I haven't used that word in a long while. Risk premium. Yeah, you see it once in a while happen, and sometimes you'll see a discounted like stock indice. You'll see like the S&P 500 down much lower than you're expecting, or what they've done is they've shifted the range. They shift the range, and then what you get is all of a sudden you are seeing the same trading pattern, but not at the same price range that you're used to seeing it at. There's pairing off in a sense. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Risk premium. That's a word I haven't used in a long while. All right, let's go over to. From there, we go over to the Mexican peso, and we'll finish off the currencies. Right there. And the peso is down at the bottom end of the range of the last like 3+ years. So they're definitely, when the peso goes down, usually the American economy starts to pick up. So that, we're looking for something positive out of that, and we'll see. It seems like, it's locked itself on the 1.61 of the whole Fibonacci range that we've been following for years. So that's what that black line is. Right there. Maybe we should make that thickerish, or let's see, where's that? Right there, yeah. Maybe what we should do is like come up with some way of, can I make it thicker? No, it won't, because it's a dash. But let's put a line in there and then make it thicker. Like that. So that's the 1.6, and that's kind of interesting to see. It's locked itself on the 161. So it's a full Fibonacci and a third, or 2/3. So that's really interesting to see it happen. And it's just locked itself there. It bounces off it, tries to move up, doesn't get to the bottom end of the range, of course, but it does do that. Now there's the bottom end of the range, that gray one right there. So actually, to be truthful, the bottom end of the range one is the cyan one right there. That's what it really is. So that's the range that we've been following for a couple of years. All right, that finishes off the currencies. But if anybody wants me to go back to them, I will. But at the moment, we'll just go start looking at like silver and copper and so forth. Let me just save this like that. And we'll go from there. Now, from there, you can see there's gold. And we got gold on there. So let's put gold on. There it is right there. Let's put the gold up on J4X. This is silver now, and you can see silver's been working its way down. And let's put it over here. You can see gold is relatively flat today. And right there is the silver. And it's up a little bit firmer. But it's in the 22s. It's been in the daily sell since all this stuff back in here. And it's been in the weekly sell there too. And we're running on a 5 here. So what is it? This is a full 5 right there. I guess in some ways we should put I don't know, I should put the 3 in there just to see how it's been acting. I think what happens is it's a little too sensitive, the 3, when it comes to some of these products. And so, it's a kind of like a volatility thing. And so when you have a product like this, silver, that can go up and down the way it does, and gold, it goes up and down the way it does, in percentage-wise, it's an increased volatility. And because of that volatility, it's harder to use just a 3, algorithm. All right. From there, we'll go over to copper. And copper is trying to push itself into the sell again. It's been in that weekly buy. It doesn't seem to have any problems with the weekly. Now you can see the fast-moving algo on that has broken down a week ago, and right in timing with the daily sell. So, but here it's flattened out. In this case here, it's underneath the manifold at this point. But then when you look at the slow-moving algo, it's just kind of moping along. There's not a lot of conviction. It's not like a lot of power to push it. We'll see how it plays out over the next week or two. See if it, like on Monday, it starts to break down out of nowhere and it gets through the time manifold, and next thing you know, it's crushing itself. I hear all kinds of comparisons of China and and the Cuban Missile Crisis and so forth. I just don't see it that way, but we'll see how the story plays out. But it's JoJo. Unfortunately, JoJo is like a pet monkey, and it just keeps on stealing the peanuts and running around like a maniac. And that's what the problem more is. It's just an irresponsible level. Thank goodness the Congress is now run by adults again. At least the House of Representatives is. The checkbook is, and the credit card is in the Republicans' hands now. So they can't get too stupid, and JoJo has to stop stealing all the peanuts. All right, and then from there we'll go over to platinum. And platinum has gone into a weekly sell a couple of weeks ago also. And let's move that up. You can see the fast over there broke down 4 weeks ago. It took a while for the rest of it to join in. And now we're getting the crescendo there down into the 950 area from 1100. It's lost $150, whereas gold, I don't think gold lost $150. Let's see what the top to the low looks like in gold. Well, the top is, what is that, 1970 something? Yeah, 1970. And it's trading at 1874. So it's lost $96. And over the same time period, nowhere near as damaging as the platinum situation. And there's the platinum again. It's been a real push down. And then at the same time, we go and look at palladium. And there's the palladium. And palladium's come off of 1800, and it's at, that has taken somewhat of a good punch in the face, I guess you could call it. It's at 1578, so it's dropped $222. So it's falling even faster than the platinum is. So there's your metals overview at the moment. Now from there we will go over to the energy sector and go see my favorite Spanish oil trading company. But first, let's take a look at the crude. You can see here it's lifting up again, trading at 79.17. And then when we go over to the, where's it at? Right there. And then when we go over to the back month, Where's that mousey at? There's the mousey. Let's go to the back month right there. So now it's trading at 79.07. And let's see where the May contract is. May contract is trading at 39, so it's a 32-cent premium. This week alone, we've seen it all the way up to 62 cents. And now we've seen it down to, I think we saw it at like 31 or 32 yesterday. And today it's at 30 or something like that, right around there. Let's just double check again. There's 33 on the back month. And the front month is evens almost. So it's about 32 cents. And you can see it is going to climb into that weekly buy. It's not fighting it. And that's pretty much the crude oil. Over on J4X, let's take a look at Brent. And there's Brent. It must be, so that's trading there. It must be like 88 or 89. And that's not Brent. Wait a minute. Oh, it's 85. Okay. So $6 premium. I was wrong even thinking about the idea of 88, I guess. There's the 86 today, but I don't know about that. But in the end result is that I was wrong to think about 88, 89, that's for sure. But it's up very firm, and it's at the top end of its range, as you can see right there. So the energies are doing that. And then let's see what Nat Gas. I saw Nat Gas went into a daily sell yesterday here in the States. Right there. And it's just kind of trapped in a range. And then at the same time over here, you see there it's way down. Been in that sell all the way back in here in, when was that? October. Oh no, I'm sorry, December. Is that December? Yeah, December. So at the end of November, it slid into the sell. First days of December, and let's widen that out more. And you can see there it's probably up a little bit for the day. Nothing major. Went into the sell yesterday, and the weekly obviously is below the zero line with no problem right there. Matter of fact, what's interesting is that the slow algorithm is still buried underneath the manifold, and the fast one at best is just above it. That's about it. Not like touching the zero line or anything. And then from there we go over to, let's see, let's put it up. Oh, we got it there. So then what we do is we go over to the Spanish company, figuring that, trading at 26 maybe, 26.10. Maybe it's breaking the 26 at 25.90 something. Let's go see and take a look and see. Not try to guess. There it is right there. 25.88. Nice. So we're actually seeing a little push on the downside in European natural gas. Well, we're getting towards the middle of the month of February. So, I mean, less gas for heat and so forth. And let's hope they have a nice early spring over there. Did they see their groundhog? Did the groundhog see them? A rodent deciding on the weather. I like that. That goes right up there with the rest of the people to try to understand weather. And that's pretty much the name of the story right there. That's pretty good too. Let's see what the thing looks like. Wow, what a flat line. Wouldn't that be something you sail it back down to the 24s or even the 22s? That would be wonderful. That's a lot. I mean, trading at 25, almost 26 a cubic foot when the States were trading at $2.50. And it's like, ooh, talk about crazy inflation. Like it's like that wheelbarrow thing with the Wehrmark or was it the Weinmark or something like that? The German currency in the late 20s, early 30s, where the inflation was just exploding. It's I guess I don't even know how they had it showed all the currency in a wheelbarrow to buy a loaf of bread. How would you measure the explosion in natural gas costs? I mean, here in the United States, we're trading at $2.50 a cubic foot, and in Europe, they're trading at $26 a cubic foot. It's like, whoa, what a great arbitrage. All right. From there, oh, what's that? Note, not Geld. What's that? Notgeld. You got the 15 in the 1 minute too, right? All good there. Not not gold. It's yeah. What do you mean? It's like gold. Natural gas is like it's like gold. Yeah, it's beyond gold. German worthless money. Ah, not Geld. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's in this case, it's the opposite. The Burger Geld. Okay, cool, Metho. Thank you. That's how they say it in Chicago. Not Geld. That's how they say it in Chicago. Okay. The new not Geld. Yes. Yeah, I like that. That's a Chicago talk. Huh, Robin? You're bringing Chicago. You know, it's always cool. It's like Osaka. You know, in other words, Osaka was the Chicago. It is the Chicago of Japan, and so most people don't know anything more than Tokyo, and then globally, and but then Osaka for traders, everybody knows Osaka because that's where they trade their futures contracts. That's the Chicago of Japan. So yeah, you got to pay attention when Osaka says something. You pay attention to when Chicago says something. All right. What else we got going on here? From there, we jump over to what do we do? Oh, it's stock indices. So we saw the VIX this morning, right there, kind of representing the volatility. It's almost up to the 21, 22 area. After going down to 17 and change, after we had that webinar about don't worry about the VIX, it doesn't mean anything. In some ways, they had to pressure it down so hard to get the top out the market a little bit here. You don't even know. You know how people want to say, oh, they're running ahead of the tape. They're racing the tape or something like that, or they're inside trading or they're pressuring markets and stuff like that. The VIX in some way we were talking about it. Janos was like, it's a 23, 24, isn't that too low? 22, isn't a market crash coming? So forth. And instead what it did is it made new highs. And then finally now, after way down, what's that, 2, 4, 6, 7 days ago, it's turned up. And then when we look at the, where's that? Right there. Where's that? Right there. There we go. When we look at the S&P 500, right there, 7 days ago, is that 7 days back? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there's the 7 days ago. Does that top at 4,200, and now it's sliding down. Still hasn't taken the stuff out here, but we'll see. Robin says necessity money used in Germany and some Eastern European states, especially after World War One. Aha! I've read different stories about the whole shebang, I guess you could call it. The whole situation, and they were the agreement of World War One was really bad on Germany. In other words, they didn't let them try to grow out of it. They basically threw them in the hole and beat them up. I guess the mind, the attitude. In other words, if they had done it right without freaking everybody out, we wouldn't have had a World War Two. But they literally bankrupted Germany after World War One, like a punishment. I mean, they were paying all kinds of money to everybody in every way, and and look what it brought. In other words, you can only press a people so much, and freak out the German economy so much, and so what you get is you get World War One Part 2. That's what it comes down to. World War One, the second side, the second half of the game. So they still lost the battle, but but everybody paid for it in the end. No one was a victor in the end, really. Too many people getting beat up and lost and beaten, and dead and so forth. So I always, it's like, I always say that it's like there was no World War II. It was World War One Part Two. That's what it really was. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have tried to bankrupt them. It's the most stupid. And the people that signed those agreements, those politicians were, mindless. Obviously, on the not just the United States side, but Europe in general. Everybody was, crazy to try to bankrupt a country like that. So, anyhow, that's my opinion. Where are we at there? From there, crying about a war over 100 years ago, the Tech 100 right there, doing the same thing, trying to back off. Notice it's having a hard time backing off too. We were in a daily sell now 2 days, had the volatility signal, but the weekly is not backing off. It's just not backing off. And over on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, same situation. It's a little bit lower. Coming off of the 34,400 area, we're at the 33,600 area. It's down 800 points, and you can see the pressure on it here. It closed in the daily sell yesterday. The weekly is flirting with the sell. That is interesting right there. It is below the zero line, so that's something to think about. But the last time it did that, it didn't last long, and it ended up twisting in the other direction. Let's see what's going on here. And so that is interesting. Let me give it a refresh because I'm kind of leery of it. Let's give it a refresh. It's very close. Okay. We'll see how they act. I don't know. It's going into a weekend. Everybody's nervous about the CPI next week. I have a hard time believing that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is actually going to just stop cold and turn back up. Don't know though. Like I said, there's a lot of money managers that are underinvested, and they need to be invested. They get paid to be invested. People give them money. They lend them money to be invested, and they're not invested. So it's something to think about. It's something to be aware of. What else do we got going on here? So that's the oh, let's take a look at the where is it at? Right here. The Russell 2000. There's the Russell. And the Russell, it's come down decently. Broke through the 2000 area and all, and it's been in a daily sell for 3 days, and the weekly doesn't care. The fast and the slow don't care. This is like literally the picture of speculative money in America. In other words, there's really, really speculative. That's this. And then there's just like, well, you're an investor and you're speculating a little bit. And that's the S&P 500. This, is, like I said yesterday, 2,000 companies. That's why they call it the Russell 2000. And in there, everybody believes there is another Apple computer. There is another Google. There's another Amazon hiding in there somewhere. Another Shopify, something like that in there. Unfortunately, the other 1,800 or 1,998 or 97 of them are going to be gone somewhere along the line, or they'll grow. One or the other. They'll grow and get into, the S&P 500 or something like that, or they'll just they'll be in the Wilshire 5,000 or something of that nature. But these companies are very small companies with great potential, neat ideas, cutting edge type of concepts, but that doesn't always make money in the end. And so that's what the Russell's telling us. And so everybody looks at it when the Russell is strong. Let's put a bigger picture up. When the Russell is strong, that means speculative money is coming into the market. And you can see here, it went after the highs of August of last year. And I think that, oh, we have it. We do have it on here, I think. Yeah, we looked at that yesterday. So let's put it up on J4X. And so let's see, where are you? There it is, right there. And let's put it across the board here like so. And you see there the all-time high is right there. I think that's the all-time high. No, there's the all-time high. 2,139 back in 22, in the spring of 22. Oh no, there it is. It's 2,400. Okay, so it's got a lot of work to do, and it's trying to take out these tops. See if it digs its heels in this area here, and then tries to turn back up again. What's that? Shitco index. Yes. Yeah, it's the. I mean, I don't think. I'm not familiar with all the stocks in it, but I would say that, was it between the most capitalized, is it $2 billion? That's the highest capitalized company in there, maybe $2 billion. And I think that the threshold on the bottom has to be like 250 million, maybe something like that. I think that's what it is. It's really low. I mean, where when you look at the S&P 500, the smallest company in the S&P 500 might be something like I don't know, $5 billion or $10 billion. That's the smallest company in there. And I had my doubts. It might even be higher. It could be, literally in these times, with Apple being a $2 trillion company, there's a good chance that the smallest company in there could be like $20 billion. And this thing, I don't think they go over $5 billion. Matter of fact, it could be, like I said, lower. It could be like 2.5 billion or something like that. And the bottom end is, just not 50 million, but it's, it can be, in the low millions. That's for sure. What do they say? Something like, million here, million there. Before you know it, you got a lot of money. Let's see. Where else are we? I guess that's about it. Anybody want to see anything? But hey, Timothy, how you doing? Yeah, you're a little late. That's all right. I was getting ready to run out the door, so that's all right. Would you like to see anything before I go? Before I start singing? Were you trying to dodge my singing? No. Let's see. What do you look at? You look at cable, right? Yeah, you look at cable. So let's take a look and see what the intradays are doing and so forth. Hey, Metho. $11 billion. Oh, that's in the 2000, huh? So there's an $11 billion stock in there. Okay. I guess that's going to graduate off to something. What does OVV do? It's probably like a growing company. There's a real problem without new public offerings, there's a very few new companies coming out. So it makes it hard. Like the Wilshire 5000 only has like 3,600 stocks in it. And I'm sure there's 2,000 Russells without a doubt, and obviously there's 500 S&Ps. So, it is representative on some level. And then let's see, there we go. There's the 15-minute. It went into the sell right there. There we go. And it's trying to get into the buy as we speak right now, as you see. With, what is that? Is it really just 24 seconds? Wouldn't it be on the hour? I guess it is, yeah. So it's getting ready to close in a buy. So your 15-minute is 12 seconds away from closing in a buy. Biggest company in 2000. Okay. Oh, oil. That would make sense. Yep. So I guess that's about it there. So it closed in a buy there on the 15-minute. Let's steal this one right there and put it in there. There we go. So, that's about it. Traders, we will catch you all. I'm watching sells on cable. Yeah, I don't blame you. But it's hard to say how they're going to play this market out the next week and a half. That's what we're really watching for, is the next week and a half. See what they do, especially with the CPI kicking out, So, let's see what else. Don't have any other thing more to say, I guess. All right, we got to come up with a title for this too. At the same time, how about what was I? What was I saying? Risk. What did I call it? Risk something. I can't remember the old saying about uh, price risk. That's it. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about that. I'm hard to say. I have to see what kind of title we should put on this. All right, traders, I'm going to sing my way out of this, but that makes sense. It was oil. Let's see. Happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Monday after the Super Bowl. Go Birds. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. Have a safe and a smart weekend. Janos, keep your head down. Be safe, be smart.